And welcome to the GSFF Industry Professional Podcast Series. I am Heather Britton O'Scanlan. I am Vice Chair here at the board at the Garden State Film Festival. My co-host today is David Schoner. David Schoner is the Associate Director of the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission, and he is also one of our board members here at the Garden State Film Festival. And joining us for today's interview is Michael Anthony. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me.
Michael is a location manager who has worked on a million things. He works in New York and New Jersey, location manager. He lives with his family in River's Edge, New Jersey. Mike began his career as an intern on Spike Lee's Malcolm X. And that's a nice way to get a start.
We're going to get to that story. We are. We're
and
do that
he's
story.
Worked on every Law and Order show, The Devil Wears Prada, Copeland in New Jersey, Ugly Betty, What Happens in Vegas, Mr. Popper's Penguins, Ray Donovan, and most recently Kevin Smith's Clerks 3.
In Jersey.
In New Jersey. Sup? So, welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much. I'm actually going to try to channel Kevin Smith in me, 'cause he is. I'm a little nervous. He's one of the original podcast guys, and so hopefully I could do as good a job as he does.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We could jump right to Clerks 3, but it would be great to start. You have to tell us the Malcolm X story about how you got started, because that's one of the things we really try to convey. I know it's a big thing of this board, a big thing of the festival, Heather and I. It's about how people broke into this industry.
Sure. I mean, I didn't know anyone in the industry when I was raised by a single mom, and my mom and I went to see Jaws when I was a kid. And I remember watching that movie, and I'd seen some Disney movies prior to that, but when I saw Jaws, I remember just looking at that screen and seeing the names at the end of it and saying, I don't know who those people are, but I want to be one of those someday. And it just started, I fell in love with movies. And it's funny, I wound up, the teenager that in the beginning of Jaws that passes out and doesn't get eaten, I actually worked with him a couple of times. He became a producer, so I've worked with him a couple of times. But so I grew up watching movies and television shows, and I studied film at Brooklyn College, and I was also working part-time at a supermarket there in Brooklyn. And one night, I had no idea. All of a sudden, this small film started loading in as we were about to close, and I met the production manager on that film. I told him I was a film major, at Brooklyn College nearby, and I wound up working on it. They were on a weekend schedule, so I wound up working on that film for about 4 weeks for free. And I had one more year of school left, and I said, the production manager on that said, listen, once you graduate, give me a call, and maybe we can put you to work. I said, sure. So this is before cell phones, so I had his number basically on a name and number on a slip of paper.
Yeah.
Graduated from Brooklyn College. A week later, I called him, and he said, I'm working on Malcolm X. Why don't you come help us out here?
Oof.
So one of the things I want to tap into is you said, I'd like to do this to them when they stared loading in. It wasn't like they come up and said, Mike, we want you.
No.
That's the theme today. That has been the theme.
I was a 20-year-old kid with the supermarket apron on, 10 o'clock, getting ready to go home. And I met the production manager. I met the guy, introduced myself, and it's just funny the way it all worked. And then a year later, he was working on Malcolm X, And then I worked as an intern for free for 4 weeks. It was 12-hour days, Monday through Friday, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And then they put me on salary, so I was in a paid PA after that. And I went on for the whole length of the film.
That's great.
I met people on that, crew members, and then I went on to Al Pacino's Scent of a Woman. After that.
Wow.
So, and then it kind of just, just kept going from there, working on productions from there. So those are the first two, Malcolm X and Scent of a Woman.
Wow. And Malcolm X filmed in New Jersey. They filmed at the Halsey Street Jail for like a long period of time. Yeah. And there you go.
Wow. Yeah, and to get your start on two such iconic films. Truly, what?
I have a good Al Pacino story. I was tasked with making him a cappuccino on a weekend. They were doing the set were built at Kaufman Astoria Studios. And so they were doing a week. Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell were doing a weekend, it's like a Saturday rehearsal. So they asked me to work that Saturday and open up everything there at Kaufman. And I had to make him. He asked me to make him a cappuccino, and I screwed that up. I could not steam the milk.
Oh,
so.
you had to. This is like before coffee
I was
shops
gonna
were
say,
really a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So he said, "How about just?" He said, "How about just plain coffee?" And I said, "Sure, I could do that." So
No, you just called Starbucks and you have it delivered. So let's talk a little bit about, because we really haven't analyzed or really gone into someone who does locations. I mean, we've had people here, but what type of personality or person really needs to work in locations? Because it is a particular type of personality.
I mean, I do think you need to like people because you're dealing with the outside world. You're dealing with people that aren't in the industry, homeowners, business owners,
Sure.
And people have to like you. I mean, you have to be likable. I think you have to have a likable personality as well. You have to be nice. You have to be, firm, because sometimes you're making deals with people. So, you can't always be Mr. Nice Guy. But I think that's an important part of locations, is you have to be likable and you have to like people, because if you don't like people, then, you should not do locations, because that's all you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Neighborhoods, towns,
Yeah, a lot of interaction with that.
I mean, and oftentimes you're in
outside world.
someone's home, or it's someone's personal property. It's personal to them. So if you
Yes.
can't relate to them on that personal level and empathize with that,
Right.
how are they going to trust you in their home?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you typically do you find placement for them? Because I mean, I've been on sets where homeowners are in the home while we're
Yes,
shooting, and
right.
it's definitely more like walking on eggshells set. It's not as comfortable of a set. It's
Right.
not ideal. How do you get rid of them? I'm curious about. I mean, they don't always want to be gotten
Right.
rid of, but
No,
how
I
do you
know.
work
Well,
that?
you have to kind of talk them into. You put them up in a nice hotel, nearby, or you pay them, and then sometimes they'll have family members that they'll stay at.
Right.
So, but like on episodic television, when you're maybe only in someone's home for one day,
Sure.
it's not such a big deal. And you kind of want they want to watch.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be the babysitter too, standing by them. You put the cans on the, let them watch the scene, maybe put them in the director's chair.
Okay.
So, it's not all about money. You want them
Sure.
to really, when you walk away, you want them to, when they see the show or they watch the movie, they want to have good memories of that.
Right.
Right.
They don't want to say, oh, they were the worst. No,
Right.
I want them to say, oh, it's such a good time. I've had people say that you could film here every week if you want. So,
Right.
Oh, that's great. You're doing something right.
I think that is really, it is about being a people skills, about interaction, about communication. It's what we do in our job, and I know that's one of the reasons with Garden State Film Festival we want to do more communication, talking about stuff. So is there when you were traveling, going through this, we talked about these opportunities. Was there an opportunity when you actually jumped into the location manager? How did that opportunity? How did that happen?
Right. That locations became. I was a set PA for a while, and I thought about going the AD route towards that. But then a friend of mine was working on Law and Order, the original Law and Order,
Back to Law and Order.
and a position opened up as a location assistant, and that was I was able to work on that. Yeah, and it was it was long term, so I was on that for about 3 years. I did about 3 seasons of that. So. And then went on to Copland.
Wow, yes.
Yeah.
And so Copland is quintessential New Jersey in a way. Even though the story doesn't take place in New Jersey, it was there was a lot of challenges in that film.
And worked with John. You had John Fadinajon.
Yes.
Which was that was a great interview that you had. And anyway, but John was a scout on Law and Order. He was excellent.
Right.
Excellent. I mean, and then he was on Copland as well. So. Yeah.
So you're a location manager. Besides managing people, you have to find locations. Is there a process that you have? What is if someone, we have a student filmmakers or young filmmakers that are trying to find a location, how do you go about it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it just has to go with experience. Just from doing this over the years. When I read a script, I immediately can think of ideas of where this could be, and then and then we share ideas. So I'll talk to other location managers or scouts, and and they'll give ideas of places I never even heard of. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
it.
I
Good
think
collaborative
that's
collaborative
industry.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's a very small industry because you just referenced John Fidinich, who we had on last time,
Yeah.
who was worked on Halston now and stuff like that. But
Gotta see that.
so one of the things we have to jump into, because I know obviously we're at a shared universe here, is Kevin Smith when you did Clerks 3.
Yes.
So we don't want to tell tall tales, but so tell us, give us give us some excitement. I know Christian, we have behind the camera that no one can see over here, was also on it and is actually in it, right? Yes. So so let's talk about that experience because I know New Jerseyans, we were thrilled that he came back,
yeah.
and obviously we have the opportunity to come back because we have a tax incentive.
I mean, I got a call from a production manager that I had never worked with before, and said if I'd be interested. I said, yes. I've always been a big Kevin Smith fan. When we were about the same age, so I loved Clerks.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
like an indie.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what we all, a lot of us. I worked in a supermarket, so I was sort of a clerk myself. I tried to make a movie like he did in the supermarket, but it didn't work out. But anyway, I've been a fan. I wrote a script. I said, if this ever gets made, Kevin Smith is the guy to direct this
great.
script. Hasn't happened. But I got the call, and so I was thrilled to be able to be a part of it, because I loved the original, all his films, but, Clerks especially. So, and it was amazing to be at the actual store. I'd never been there before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Seen it in the movie and to see it in person, and to meet Kevin in person. He's such an energy. I mean, the guy, he has the title of nicest director I've worked with.
Wow.
Jason Alexander, I worked with him once before. He directed a small movie, and Jason was really nice. But Kevin is, I think he took the title from Jason. So.
Sorry,
He was-
Jason Alexander. Kevin Smith is nicer than you.
Kevin was really great.
And the fantastic thing is you were back in Kevin's his world. You're at Middletown. What are some of the locations you filmed?
Yeah.
Because we are in
Yeah, yeah.
Monmouth
Yeah.
County right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
So what were some of the locations you filmed in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give the plot away, but
Well, you
we
don't have to do that.
but we did film at a hospital. We got lucky. I think we got lucky, and we were able to film a lot of scenes in this.
Well,
beautiful,
yeah, in
fantastic.
mid-pandemic, you
Yes,
filmed in a
yeah, we
hospital.
were lucky. We
We'll
came
pat you on the
across it.
back for that.
We came across a closed wing
Mm-hmm.
at a hospital that just happened. Just at that, I mean, we literally had a 2-week window
Wow.
to be able to work there, and it just the timing worked out. It was perfect.
Great.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing is that Kevin Smith is the hometown hero. I mean,
Yes.
or the Monmouth. I mean, the New Jersey hero. I don't want to.
There's a lot of New Jersey pride.
Yeah.
We're proud of our boy.
Yes.
Whatever part of New Jersey you're from, and we all love Kevin Smith, but especially if you're a filmmaker in the industry. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Well, he's such
great.
I mean, I wish I couldn't, but I tell you, I wish I could sit for hours and just talk about movies with them. I had a chance. I mean, because I feel like we like the same movie. I mean, so once in a while we would get into something, but he's just he's a film lover. It's a lot of wealth of knowledge there.
So I keep on going back to this about location managers, that you are creatively actually painting the picture of the film because you are finding locations
Yes.
that are going to be used,
Yeah.
and you are creatively involved. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
other layers. There's the production designer, all that other
Yes.
folks.
I mean, obviously,
But-
we're taking the lead from the director.
Exactly,
And the production designer,
yeah.
But I could. I mean, can I give you an instance of
Please,
where
yes.
I'm very proud of? Did you see the movie What Happens in Vegas with
Yes.
Cameron Diaz and
Oh,
Ashton
okay,
Kutcher?
yeah.
Well, in the original script, it was the end of the film was supposed to be an iconic location. It was scripted as the Letchworth Gorge, which is a state park all the way up by kind of Niagara Falls. It's the Grand Canyon of the East,
Right.
is what they call it. So anyway, the producer of the movie said, "Well, listen, we're not going all the way up there, so you got to find me something iconic closer." So I, started thinking, and Cameron Diaz's character was sort of a lost at that end of the film was kind of her character
Yes.
was lost. So I thought of a lighthouse, kind of being a beacon for her, and I thought of the Robert Moses lighthouse. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't think of the light. We were in New York, so
Yeah, but it's okay.
but
You live in Jersey.
I-
Yes, in Jersey.
So anyway, I thought of a lighthouse, and so we filmed at the Robert Moses Lighthouse on Long Island, and that's the end of the film is there. So creatively, I was able to
That's great.
take something, change what was written in the script to something that
Leave your mark
But,
on that film.
yeah, it was. So
That's
I'm very,
special.
I'm very proud of that. Yeah, that I was able to.
I've always felt the location department. You guys are probably, and ladies are probably the hardest working people in the department, because I don't mean everyone dumps on you, but everything gets filtered down to you, because at the end of the day, there's 1,000 moving parts, and you have to make sure that location all functions.
Yes.
That's why I like to highlight that you are creatively finding something. You may given a directive that's going to bring it back.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only the location you have to find, but then it's the logistics.
Oh, yeah. Permits and
the
coordinating
permitting and the base
police
camp and the
yeah.
holding area and the lunch.
And you're managing it all.
Yeah, I mean, not alone. I mean, you have to have you have to have a great staff. But yeah, the team is putting it all together, and you're dealing with the needs of every department head.
Yes.
Props needs this, set dressers need this, grip, electric. Director, producers, so
It's
yeah,
a
we're
lot. Yeah.
dealing
How
with
many outlets? How many? Yeah. Where's
we're
the?
dealing with the needs of all the, so if you want to get into this business, and you want to learn kind of everything, work on set and locations, because you're gonna learn a lot. You'll be dealing with all the departments, and then you can kind of see, if you don't want to stay in location, but then you can see the other departments, how they work, and meet them, and maybe that's interesting. Find what's interesting for you.
Well, that's a big thing we also talk about is this networking, the networking of what it means, because I think in the locations department you're dealing with everybody.
Yes, everybody. Not only the crew members, but also the outside world. So it's really everything.
It's a big deal. So let's talk about a little bit about The Devil Wears Prada, because we were, even though they did not film in New Jersey, but that's right.
Yeah.
So what was some fun challenges or something that was interesting about that? Because I think everyone knows that film.
Yeah. Well, I've never worn Prada in my life, so I'm surprised that I was able to work on it. So. But I dressed as best as I could.
Your finest black.
Exactly. But it was, it was high. It was, the director was great, and the producers. So they were all. It was great, just a good atmosphere to work with. We filmed at a lot of New York iconic locations.
That's what I was.
Yeah, and it was very. It was challenging. They wanted to. It had to be the best. I remember there was a cafeteria scene in their office, and it had to be the best office cafeteria in New York, and I showed them what I thought was the best, and they literally were like, "This isn't going to work," and they started going towards the elevator. I literally had to grab them out of the elevator and say, "Guys, just come back. Let me show you this." And I came, I said, if we move these things away from the window, and anyway, they wound up saying, they said, "Mike, you're right. This could work. This is perfect." And that's where we shot.
So that's
And
well, you had the vision, and you had to
yeah,
convey that.
Yeah, you have to sell it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to sell it, and if they say no, it's not going to work. That's fine, but at least in that case, it did.
I recently saw something before I even knew you were coming here today, but about the locations, specifically locations at the Devil Wears Prada, and how they, faked Paris, New York for Paris at different locations. I don't
We did.
think
Well, we filmed
that Meryl Streep ever went to Paris. So
she
she
did.
was.
Yeah, they did.
Meryl went to Paris.
I believe so.
Did
Yeah,
she?
but
But
we
I
did the
read that she
scene. We did the. It was at the Museum of the City in New York, is where she walks out. So
Right.
we were filming at the Museum of Natural History, and then we did a Paris exit from the museum right next door. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that exterior there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
And we filmed
great.
Central Park and Madison Avenue, and
Yeah, New York City was really like a very strong supporting character in that film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you had a takeaway, because we do this every time, we try to leave some sort of wisdom with someone who's watching. So if you have a takeaway on getting into the business, what you want to do, what would your takeaway be?
I mean, I think you have to be. You're going to have to really sell yourself too. You're going to have to meet. Go to. If you see a film set, go to that set. Talk to the PAs. Talk to somebody on it. If you want, how to break in. And you have to be persistent. Another one of your guests said if you're on time, you're late. So you have to be 30 minutes to 15 minutes early. But you have to be persistent, because people forget. You got to keep calling and calling, tell
Yeah.
you're available. But if you don't know any business, be an intern. Be willing to work for free for a short amount of time, and then most likely you'll get work as a PA, and then kind of start to decide which department you want to work in, or if you want to be a director or a producer, you could certainly observe that. So, yeah, I mean, working on set is you can get paid to how do you say? It's
To
like
learn.
a learn,
to
exactly.
Yeah.
yourself to the
it's
different
almost-
facets.
Yeah, it's almost like getting paid college.
Yeah. And like you said, try that position out. And if that one doesn't work for you, maybe you'll see something else that works for you. But you have to try, you have to be persistent
Yes, absolutely.
and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you so much. And I hope you can join us in March
Yes,
23rd through
I'm-
the 27th
I'm
at
looking
Asbury
forward
Park.
to, yeah, now that things are opening up again, I'm really looking forward to making it to the festival this
We
year.
are going to be
so it's gonna
presenting
exciting.
live and in person.
Yes.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yes.
Asbury Park, New Jersey, March 23rd through 27th. We hope to see you there, Michael. We hope to
Yes.
see all of you there. Get your tickets now, gsff.org. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.